What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys, welcome back to another edition of Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. And you guys, today is an interesting day. I was up extremely late last night. I didn't go to bed until 4 o'clock in the morning. I would say not for any particular good reason, but I was, some of you know, I work as a flight attendant. So I was doing my flight attendant job yesterday, and it just so happened that didn't get back to the airport until about midnight, a little after midnight. And by the time I got home, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just kind of needed that extra time just to settle down and kind of like get out of my head and whatever. Didn't go to sleep until 4 a.m., woke up at noon. Still kind of groggy. Today's just one of those days I am not exactly feeling it. So I don't. Today I don't have a guest on the show per se. And I say per se because maybe about 10 minutes ago I put a blast out on Facebook saying like, hey, if anybody wants to do a guest spot on the show today, Skype right in. So let's see. There's speaking of which, I have a notification. Right now, it's actually from my brother. He says, give me a call when you're back. I have no idea what this is. Oh, he wants to be on today's show. Well, let's just call my brother right now. Let's see what he's up to. Let's see if we can get him on the horn. And it appears that that my brother is now going to be a guest on the show. Hang on one second while I pipe his live feed in. Martin, if you can do me a favor and turn your phone to landscape as opposed to portrait.
Just one moment.
That'd be a huge help. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my brother, Mr. Martin Brown. Martin, how's it going? You go by Marty, but I call you Martin.
Yeah, whatever.
How's your day? I haven't spoken to you today. What's going on? How you doing? What's the news?
Let's see here. Nothing.
Nothing.
There is no news. No.
No news is good news. So for those of you who watch the show, you may not know, my brother lives down in Virginia. And who is this joining? Is this Fiona?
This is Fiona.
This is Fiona. This is my niece Fiona. Well, welcome to the show, Fiona. Is this your first broadcast? Live broadcast?
It is. I'm very good at talking.
Well, Fiona, thank you so much for being on the show today. And Martin, I'm gonna probably keep you on for the first little bit of the show. We'll probably, like I said to our viewing audience, this is a new thing that I've never done before. I've never tried this before, so I don't exactly know how the structure of this is gonna work. We're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants. But as we're flying by the seat of our pants, may I remind you to go over to YouTube.com, type in "Gotta Love Them Movies." You'll see a little red box in the top right-hand corner that says subscribe. Go ahead and click on that button. What clicking on that button does is it helps us to widen our subscriber base. But Mike, you say, we're watching this on Facebook Live. Why do we have to go to your YouTube page and subscribe? Well, Franco, thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. With the more subscribers we have on the channel, the more watched content the channel generates. And with the more watched content, I get more ad revenue, which means I get to make this show my full-time job. So I very much appreciate that. And as always, once we hit 1,000 subscribers, the show will be moving from Facebook to YouTube. So just something to be aware of right there. All right, guys, so with all that done out of the way, now it's time to take a little bit of movie news.
What?
All right, guys, now it is time to take a little bit of movie news. Martin, just so you know, our first little bit of movie news comes in the form of, this particular article is from Deadline, but there's a new trailer that dropped online today. Martin, I don't know if you are familiar with the film. I'd never heard of it until today. It's called Father Christmas is Back. This is a movie that stars John Cleese, Elizabeth Hurley, and one of my favorites, Kelsey Grammer. And of course, it's a Christmas movie. So when I saw this, I was thinking, first of all, it's a Christmas movie. this, like, I am in. Somebody just say Christmas and I am in wholeheartedly. Then you say John Cleese and I'm like, what? Then you say Kelsey Grammer and I'm like, okay. Then you say Elizabeth Hurley and you're like, I'm in. I'm in it to win it. Have you, Martin, first of all, have you heard of this trailer? And second of all, have you seen the trailer?
Unfortunately, I haven't done either. It just dropped today, and truth be told, I've been trying to field the kiddos. I was probably going to look at it a little bit later today.
I definitely encourage you to check it out, because as I was watching the trailer, again, like I said, has a great cast. It's Christmas, so I'm all in. And you guys, I have to say, this trailer looks terrible. This looks so bad. This movie looks so incredibly bad. This seems like somebody's afterthought. First, let me go to the article real quick, and the article gives a brief description of the movie. The plot centers on here. Let me highlight it for you real quick. What did I just highlight? There we go. The plot centers on Caroline Christmas, a control freak who desires nothing more than a perfect Christmas with her sisters at her lavish country manor to atone for the fact that their father, Kelsey Grammer, abandoned the family on December 25th many years ago. When, on Christmas Eve, their long-lost father arrives at their doorstep with his new girlfriend, chaos ensues. Through a mishap of misunderstandings, Caroline uncovers a long-buried family secret. Can the family still celebrate Christmas together after all?
So the last name of this family is Christmas, and the father abandoned the family on Christmas. That's weird. That seems crazy.
It's, I mean, like as Deadpool put it, that's just lazy writing, you guys. That's just lazy writing. It's like the premise of this just sounds so hokey. It sounds so dumb. First of all, I watched the trailer and I had no idea what the movie was about. And then I read the synopsis and it sounded worse than what I just saw on screen. Martin, I have a strong feeling that you will not be watching this when this movie drops on whatever streaming service it's going to drop on, because rest assured, this is not going to come out in theaters, especially in a COVID world.
No. That would you would be very accurate. I do not plan on watching this at all.
Well, I see my nephew Tommy is there, so let me get Tommy's opinion real quick. Tommy, you are live on television right now. So for everybody who's watching this, do you have an opinion on whether you are going to be watching this new movie called Father Christmas is Back? Does that sound interesting to you?
Do you like the sound of that movie? He right now he's pontificating.
Well, hey, what's that, Tommy?
He says he doesn't like that movie.
I think that's a great opinion. We should all trust the instincts of a 4-year-old when we're dealing with Father Christmas is Back. But the big question for you guys is: have you seen the trailer? What do you think of the trailer for Father Christmas is Back? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in between? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, Martin, thank you so much for joining. I think I have somebody else on the line waiting to Skype in, so I'm going to let you go. Thanks for...
I wish I had an early birthday.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, my birthday is on Friday.
Yes. Well, happy birthday on Friday, and I'll probably give you a call closer to that time. But anyway, thank you for having us on. Say thank you.
Thanks for being on the show, Tommy and Fiona and Martin, and I will see you guys later. Bye.
Okay, bye now.
All right. That was my brother Martin. Super cool to have him on the show. We've never had him on the show before. I would love to. It appears we have another person on the line coming in right now. Looks like this is Carter. I think we had Carter on the show a few weeks ago. I do believe that we had Carter on the show a few weeks ago. There's Carter. Carter, welcome back to the show. Let me excuse me 1 second while we pipe your NDI source in here for a second. That's not what I was looking for. Give me 1 second, Carter. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is a fly by the seat of your pants kind of show. This is how we're rocking today. There's Carter. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
You know what? Things are great. I just had my brother on the show, and now we've got Carter coming all the way from Philadelphia. Carter, what's the best part of your day so far?
Not much. I'm less sick than I've been for the last 2 days.
Oh, tears of sadness. I don't like it when you're sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's been weird because I don't really feel sick. It's just that I can't really keep anything, or I haven't been able to keep things in my stomach. But today, I've had like a meal. So
Well, you had a
it's
meal.
been great.
Well, congratulations.
I had a meal.
You had a full-blown food fest, and it's staying in your stomach, so let's hope it stays there. And speaking of hoping for things staying there, our next bit of movie news comes to us from Collider, and it would appear that Sam Neill, not just Sam Neill, but also director Colin Trevorrow, they took to Twitter very recently to announce filming for Jurassic World is now finished. Sam Neill posted along as he retweeted Colin Trevorrow's tweet. He said, "There were days we thought we might not make it, but we have. We pulled off what seemed well nigh impossible. Great crew, lovely cast, top director, pew! And celebrations! Hashtag Jurassic World Dominion, hashtag Jurassic Park." Well, yeah, I mean, Carter, it appears that filming on Jurassic World Dominion is now finished. The film has wrapped. I mean, they still have reshoots to do. We know that every big production, even smaller productions, they budget time and money nowadays to do reshoots. Even 10 years ago, not so long as 10 years ago, I know a lot of films would budget time and money to they would not budget time and money for reshoots. So anytime that you heard in the news like, oh, this new Star Wars movie, or not that they were doing Star Wars movies 10 years ago, but you get the point. Hey, this big movie is doing reshoots. That used to be a sign of, something's wrong. Now it's just, standard operating procedure. Movies are so big these days. You can't expect to shoot everything that you would hope to shoot. But yeah, I mean, Jurassic World Dominion has finished filming. I hate to say it, but I have high hopes for it. Where do you stand in the Jurassic World Dominion camp?
I mean, I want to see it, but the thing is, I actually missed the last. There was a second Jurassic World, right? Or is it this
Fallen
one?
Kingdom?
Yeah, I missed that one, so I need to see that one. But I really like the first one, and obviously I really like Jurassic Park. But I don't know. I'm just pumped to hopefully go into a movie theater at some point in the future.
Oh man, have you been back to the movies since COVID has happened?
No, not at all. I think no, not at all. The last movie I saw in theaters was I think it was Just Mercy. Did you see that?
Saw the I saw it on like I said, today is one of those days that my brain is just not processing with an Intel Core processor. But yes, I've seen it, just not in theaters. Saw it on streaming.
Yeah. No, that was a tearjerker.
So good.
My mom and I went. But no, that was the last movie I saw, and I think that was like 3 months before.
Oh wow,
the quarantine.
December, didn't it?
Happened.
It came out in December last year. Yeah.
I think it did. I think I saw it in January or February.
I think they wanted it to be an Oscar contender. But yeah, I mean, admittedly so, I have been back to the theater since COVID hit. Last Friday, just this past weekend, I put out an editorial about what my experience was like going back to the theaters. We went to go see New Mutants. We went to go see Tenet. And Tenet, thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. I still haven't given my full review of it yet. My review for the New Mutants is up, so definitely go check those out on the channel. Yeah, Carter, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. In a COVID world, it has become extremely strenuous to produce any kind of a film, any kind of a movie, in these kinds of conditions. You know, we have when COVID first happened, they were right in the middle of production, so they had to shut down for a few months. When they picked production back up again, I think they were in production for maybe like a month or 3 weeks. Then they had to shut down again because, you know, some of their crew got coronavirus. They picked back up. They finally finished filming. We've just heard other reports of other like The Witcher. Just I think yesterday or this morning, they announced they had to shut down because 4 of their crew members came down with coronavirus. What are your thoughts on like filming during the pandemic?
I find it very interesting. I've been following Batman and Spider-Man quite a bit, and all of these photos that they're taking on set, I find very interesting. But I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not the kind of person to say, you know, hey, COVID's here to stay. We might as well just get back to doing things. Obviously, still stay safe and, you know, do what you can do. But ultimately, my kind of thought process about it is that we have to be able to work, and I'm just hoping that these studios are being as safe as possible. And I mean, you just have to go out there and work.
I agree. I know there's been a little bit of scuttlebutt about saying like, you know, all these production studios, they put all these stringent, you know, protocols in place, and coronavirus still gets through. So what's the point? And, you know, I saw another YouTuber talk about this morning, actually, and I think he brings up a great point, which is these protocols are working. If they weren't working, the coronavirus would just spread throughout the entire production. Everybody would have it, but they're not.
Exactly.
I mean, they have these very strict protocols. And this is just my opinion. I kind of feel like measures could maybe be taken a little bit further. I'm one of those people that even after somebody, you know, sprays something down with the electrostatic sprayer and wipes it down with you know, Clorox wipes, I still need to go in and do it myself just to make sure that I'm comfortable with the job. You know, I'm a flight attendant. I sometimes have to stay in hotel rooms. I understand that contact tracing is not that prevalent, but just my own brain, for me to feel comfortable, I go into a hotel room, and even after they've gone through and done like the whole, this is a clean stay, this is certified clean, I still have my alcohol spray, and I wipe every surface down just so I feel that I can be comfortable in this space. But that's my own neuroses. That's my own thing, right?
No, I totally get it. I mean, I feel weird about, I mean, I just started working at a job at a nice brand name cafe that I feel like if I'm going to talk about, I shouldn't name. But I mean, just the way that we clean things, we do have to clean things. But like, still, it's just like we're telling people that we're the safest thing in the whole entire world. But I feel like, you know, a rag with some sanitizer on it isn't, you know, for a whole entire store, the one rag with, you know, that doesn't feel as clean. Like, I feel like people just should be taking these precautions themselves.
You get into the idea of like, okay, it's this person's job to clean, let's say, a movie theater. You go into the movie theater, it's your job to wipe every surface down, and then they go through the electrostatic sprayer, and then the fog machine essentially, and then they fog everything down. That sounds wonderful. That sounds great on paper, but the actual practicality of it is that you have 5 minutes to clean this entire theater before you have to go to the next theater and clean that one and then clean the next one. Like, you're on a time schedule, you're on a timetable. And when you inevitably what happens when you put people under the time crunch is that corners get cut.
I mean, it's true. I even back in college, one thing that my professor used to say to me was safety isn't profitable, which I find I've really carried that with me when thinking about other businesses a lot. You know, you have to think about what is the standard that businesses and, you know, studios have to hit in order to label themselves safe.
I agree.
You know, it's more about the label of being safe than it is about the real safety. But I mean, I do think that these precautions are working, right? I think that when it comes to, because even what you said earlier, I'd love comparing people who are just like, oh, well, let's just go all out since it's not working. Why spend all this money being safe if a couple people got COVID? It's just like, what are you talking about? Why put airbags in every seat and why make everyone wear a seatbelt if one person in a car crash is going to die? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. It's I think we're all doing the best we can, and personally, I think that the United States could be doing a little bit better.
Yes, I could not agree more. Anyway, guys, big question for you is, what do you think of the filming of Jurassic World Dominion now that it is finished? Are you excited for the film to come out? Have you seen Are you like Carter? Have you even seen Fallen Kingdom? What do you think of the Jurassic World franchise? I mean, it's no big surprise. Jurassic Park is my favorite film ever made. It influenced my life. It, kind of put me on a track in a direction of like, this is where I want my life to go, But what's your favorite film? What do you like most about this franchise? Do you think that they're being safe? Is this kind of a dangerous thing? There's so many discussions to be had regarding Jurassic World Dominion. Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right. Well, Carter, thank you so much for jumping on the show today. I'm going to cut you off and see if anybody else wants to jump on the show and do a little talky talk. If not, and, same thing to Martin. Martin, if you're still watching, jump on in. Call us back if nobody else calls us in. But yeah, Carter, thanks so much. Call in again in a couple of topics if nobody's done so. All right?
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you so much. And let me just cut Carter loose real quick. Yeah, and again, if anybody's watching, go ahead and call. My Skype handle is @Solo Improv, @Solo Improv. So just look me up on Skype and let's talk turkey. All right, guys, our next movie topic of the day, and where am I? I'm all over the place, you guys. All right, so our next bit of movie news for the day comes to us from Collider. And we all knew that, it's no surprise. Star Wars is one of the biggest properties on the planet. Everybody loves Star Wars. Even if you don't like Star Wars, come on, everybody likes Star Wars. It is so influential. Even if you don't like it, if you haven't seen the movies, everybody knows about Star Wars. And now with, Disney being in charge of the Star Wars franchise, it's no wonder that they're planning on expanding the universe. So Leslie Headland is now in charge of creating a new show over at Disney Plus that takes place in the Star Wars universe. And I think this is pretty interesting. This is what she had to say specifically about this new show that she's bringing out to Disney Plus. She said, "I would like to say it's in a pocket of the universe and a pocket of the timeline that we don't know much about. I kind of see if Star Wars is a religion. I like to think, I like to think of my show as a tent revival. You can come over if you want to. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff. There are going to be things we haven't discussed in the canon yet. There are going to be some characters you don't know about." And again, this is coming from Leslie Headland as she was being interviewed about the new Star Wars show. I think this is really cool. I think this is really interesting. Actually, here, let me go back to the article, because as the article points out towards the end, and I'm not a huge fan of this phraseology, but here, let me just point out what Collider's saying. Details on the show are still largely under wraps, but it's been teased as a female-centric action thriller with martial arts elements. Hopefully we'll get detail soon, blah, 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 blah. I am not a fan of the term female centric or female led, blah blah blah. I don't like having to make that delineation, because nobody says, well, this is a male led thing. It just goes into saying, male led roles or male-led shows or movies are the default. That's our golden standard, and it shouldn't be that way. It definitely should not be that way to say that male roles are the default. But whatever terminology, I understand what they're trying to say here. It's going to be an action thriller with martial arts elements. I think that sounds really cool. That's something we haven't really seen in the Star Wars universe. Also, and again, like the headline of this article is a little misleading a little bit. It says, Star Wars Leslie Headland says her Disney Plus series will explore a new timeline and universe. The whole part of and universe, it's not actually a different universe from Star Wars. It's in the same universe. It's just in a different corner. It's in a different pocket. It's something that we haven't explored. It's something that we haven't, talked about or haven't been shown before in any of the canon or extended books or, whatever. So I think this is cool. Anytime that we have a moment to expand the universe a little bit and tell a brand new story in a world that we've already come to know and love, I think is a great thing. Because why not? Again, this is something we can only benefit from. And, if they want to, focus on the fact that this is a female-led blah, 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 blah. First of all, I've already tiraded about this for a moment. Can we just stop using that terminology? Can we just say, hey, this is a new show starring a character named blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. Like, why do you... Anyway, you understand what I'm saying there. But yeah, anytime that we have an opportunity to tell other types of stories than the stories we've been telling for generations now, we can only benefit from, because it's a new perspective. It's a new idea. I love that kind of stuff. Anyway, question is for you guys. What do you think of the new Star Wars show coming out on Disney Plus? Are you familiar with it? Have you heard of it? Again, not a lot of details have been put out there, but I think it actually sounds kind of cool that we're going to get, an 8-episode television show on Disney Plus that has nothing to do, it is not connected in any way, shape, or form with the Skywalker saga. It's a brand new set of characters, brand new story. It's still in the universe, but it's not going to be tied or connected to anything that we've seen or heard or experienced before. I'm very excited for it. What are you guys excited for? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Okay, guys. Let's get somebody back on the horn here. Let's see if Carter's around. Let's give Carter a call. Let's see if he can jump back on the show. We don't have a lot of people calling in right now, and this is, like I said, this is a fly by the seat of your pants kind of show. So we don't know exactly how this is gonna roll, but hey, you never know. So we're calling Carter right now. Let's see if we can get him on the phone. It doesn't appear that he's answering the phone, or his Skype rather, at the moment. So we'll just kind of let it sit and see what happens. And while we're waiting for Carter to jump on the horn, let's jump over and talk about Boba Fett for a second. So, okay, here's the thing, you guys. If you've been watching The Mandalorian, you would know that there are some spoilers that have come out. So here's the thing. If you have not been watching Mandalorian, if you plan on watching Mandalorian, you may not want to watch this video right now. There are going to be a few spoilers. But then again, if you clicked on it, I mean, you've seen, the headline right here. You kind of know what we're talking about. And that is that there is a Boba Fett spin-off show in the works for Disney Plus, and it's probably going to come out before The Mandalorian Season 3 comes out. This is something that they just announced, that Disney Plus just announced, or rather Lucasfilm, excuse me. They just announced a couple of days ago, and for them, this is something that's been in the works for a while. This is not something that they're like, hey, we've got an idea, let's put it out in the public eye. They've already known about all the things popping up in Mandalorian Season 2. They've already known about that. So for a Boba Fett show to be a spinoff, I would assume it's going to be a spinoff. Boba Fett shows up at the end of episode 1 in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. The very end, the very tail end. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't do anything. He's just standing in the desert of Tatooine watching Mando ride his speeder through the desert somewhere, right? Mando has his adventure. He does what he's going to do, and then he speeds off at the end of the episode, and he goes right by Boba Fett. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So there's a lot of theories going around the internet right now. Is he going to come back? Are we going to see more of Boba Fett in this show? Maybe. Maybe not. But as this article points out, and not only is the article, but as Lucasfilm hinted, they might actually start production on this next week. They might start production on a brand new Boba Fett spin-off show next week. Now, again, this is not something that came up willy-nilly and they're like, hey, let's go off and do something that we've never done before. This is something that they had planned for a long time. Probably a year, if not longer than that. They knew this was happening. They just dropped the announcement, like I said, a few days ago, and now they're going into production on a brand new Boba Fett show. Coming off the heels of the success of Mandalorian. You know, Mandalorian is one of those shows that I'm not going to say some people love it and some people hate it. It's not a divisive show. It's not a divisive show. It's a show that I think a lot of people are enjoying right now. It's not the action thrilling, like it definitely is an episodic show. Like I don't want to say there's like the villain of the week, but there's kind of like, there's the problem of the week. I don't think that works necessarily in the overall storytelling. But it does make the show a little bit more palatable when you want to go back and rewatch certain episodes. Like, again, no secret, my favorite television show of all time is Frasier. Frasier is one of those shows that is a problem of the week. The television show Schitt's Creek is now starting to become one of my favorite television shows of all time. I would rate it in probably the 4th spot. Frasier, Twilight Zone. In fact, take any of these shows. Frasier, Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone, Stranger Things, and then Schitt's Creek. All of those shows are problem of the week kind of shows, you know. Stranger Things is a little bit different. It's like a really long movie, right? It's like a really long movie, but each episode kind of focuses on this person's story or on this person's story. So it still kind of makes it about like a thing. Frasier, problem of the week. Twilight Zone, not necessarily problem of the week, but every episode is a standalone episode that has nothing to do with any episode that came before. It's its own contained story. Same thing with Schitt's Creek. You have problem of the week, and it's interesting in the way that it's constructed. Mandalorian is the same thing. It is problem of the week. Here's a fire dragon that he has to fight or whatever. Was a previous season. There was the invasion of this small communal town. There's this, there's that. He has these little things that he has to work through and work towards in his main goal of trying to get Baby Yoda home, or the child. Whatever his species is. But I think it's really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the new Boba Fett show. I feel like Boba Fett is one of those characters that we know so extremely little about. He's been in Star Wars lore for ages, almost since the beginning. Boba Fett made his first appearance in, I believe, it was the holiday special in 1977. I believe that was the first appearance of Boba Fett. And then George Lucas put him into Empire Strikes Back, and that's where everybody knows him from. Everybody knows Boba Fett from The Empire Strikes Back, but we know extremely little about him as a character. We got a little bit of backstory in what was it, episode 2, Attack of the Clones. It was a garbage movie. I think I've only seen it once, maybe twice. I don't know. I just hated that movie so much. I've just written it off. So I don't know much about Boba Fett. But in this show, I think it's interesting because Boba Fett is one of those characters. He's such a fan favorite. Look at pop culture. If you look at Star Wars pop culture, the Mandalorian, not just the Mandalorian armor, but Boba Fett's Mandalorian armor has come to be so iconic. It's in clothing, it's on t-shirts, it's on backpacks, it's on shoes. People wear this stuff, it's in art, it's in pop culture, it's all around us. And I think that is the reason that this show is probably. I mean, it still has to be written well. I mean, you can't turn a bad show into something wonderful if it's just a bad script and poorly directed and whatever. But I think that is a huge. The fact that Boba Fett is so hardcore in the public eye or spotlight, that's really gonna give him the edge. It's really gonna give him the edge to make the show the best that it could be. But the question is for you guys: are you looking forward to the new Boba Fett show? Are you not looking forward to a new Boba Fett show? Are you looking forward to Mandalorian season 3 more? Whatever. There's a lot to explore here. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Okay, guys, we have one last bit of movie news to talk about. And like I said, today's kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of a day. Apologies if this format is just not working for you. Let's try Carter again. Let's see if Carter's around. I know that Carter, he's been on the show before, and, you know, he was a guest earlier today. So let's see if we can get Carter on the phone. Let's see what he's up to. I don't know if you guys can hear this... doom, 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 doom. The Skype jingle. I love the Skype jingle. It's one of my favorite things. All right, so it doesn't seem that Carter is picking up right now, so we're just gonna move on without him again. You know what? Let's try my brother. Let's see if Marty's around. Let's see if he's picking up. Again, sorry for the confusion and just for you know, the fly by the seat of your pants nature of what's happening right now. But hey, it sounds like we got Martin back on the phone. Yeah, let's do that, and let's see if we can get you back up. So I currently have a still of Carter up on the show. Let's see. There's Marty. Oh, and there's my niece Eileen. How you doing, Eileen?
Good.
Yeah? Are you having a great day?
Yeah, I'm a bit tired from doing some of my homework, but I'm good.
You're a bit tired from doing some of your homework. Well, on the show today, our next bit of movie news is it looks like The Suicide Squad, the movie that is being directed by James Gunn. Has a new spin-off show coming in the form of Peacemaker. So HBO Max has just ordered an 8-episode series. And here, let me jump down to the article so you guys can see. Here we go. HBO Max has called in the Peacemaker, ordering a TV spin-off of James Gunn's upcoming Suicide Squad movie starring John Cena. Now, previously, John Cena, it kind of seems like they've been put in, when I say they, I mean like Hollywood in general, they've tried to kind of push this idea or agenda of John Cena being kind of like the next Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Like, he's a big guy, he's stacked, he's a teddy bear of a human being, he's very sweet, very nice, very kind, but he's also not the greatest actor in the world. Well, one of the strengths of James Gunn is that James Gunn knows how to write for his actors. Dave Bautista, very famously. Dave Bautista, not the greatest actor in the world, but the way that James Gunn wrote the character of Drax for, for Guardians of the Galaxy. Excuse me. I just said his name. Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista knew how to fill out that role perfectly. Martin, when you hear that John Cena is now going to be starring in his own television show of The Peacemaker based on his character from the Suicide Squad, how does that make you feel? And like, what kind of a show do you think this is going to be?
Yeah, I like it, honestly. I mean, I think John Cena has a lot going for him. I think the biggest problem is that people keep putting him into into a role that is Dwayne Johnson. when he isn't. I mean, he's a different guy. He's got a different personality. And in spite of so many similarities, he's a different actor. You wouldn't expect Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone, though they were both 80s action stars, a lot of similarities. They're different actors. And they needed different roles in order to make everything go. And so I think that you need John Cena needs his own vehicle that is not an imitation of Dwayne Johnson to really shine.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. John Cena needs a vehicle that is all his own, that is curtailed to him, that is not a Dwayne Johnson project. Yeah, and I get it. Like Dwayne Johnson and John Cena have shared the screen before, very famously in the Fast and the Furious movie, or one of the Fast and Furious movies. Spoiler: I've not seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. I need to get caught up. But
favor.
Say what?
You need to do yourself a favor.
Apparently so. Apparently that's what a lot of other people think. Martin, I'm curious to hear what Eileen has to say on the subject.
Oh.
Eileen, in case you haven't heard, there's a new movie coming out. Or I'm sorry, it's a television show. It's a new television show coming out called The Peacemaker. Now, the character of the Peacemaker, he wants people to get along and just be, peaceful and love each other and be happy. He doesn't want any problems to happen in the world, but it comes at a price. He's willing to do some really bad things in order to make sure that people get along. Do you think that is a television show that people are going to like? Does that sound interesting to you? What do you think?
Well, I think people would definitely watch it. I'm not quite sure if I would like it though. Sometimes you just have to dig in and find out. At first, I thought I would like a tracing pad for Christmas, but then when I watched the unboxing video on YouTube, I was like, nope, I don't even want that any close.
And that's a great point that you bring up, is that sometimes the concept sounds interesting, but then when you actually watch it, sometimes you may not like what you get. Does that sound right?
Yes, that does.
Now, Tommy, when you hear about a character like Peacemaker, he wants everybody to be peaceful, but he's also willing to do some really bad things to make that happen. Is that something that you would like to see, or do you think that's not so good?
Would you like to watch it, Tommy? No, on Plus. I don't want to watch it on Plus. I don't. I like part of the parts of it, but I like part of it I don't like. We haven't watched it
That's
yet.
totally fair. And I think that just speaks to the subjectivity of film and television. Sometimes things get put out on TV that we don't like, and sometimes things get put out on TV that we do like. Does that sound fair? Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
All right.
I do like that DC,
Daddy.
a bit like Marvel did with Guardians of the Galaxy, is attempting to explore characters outside the Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman pantheon. I think I apologize for that. But I think that okay, yes, everything is updated, Tommy. I apologize.
No, you're fine. This is just family life. This is family life in the Brown household.
This is live television at its best.
But no,
folks.
you make a great point. Is that DC is doing a really great job at exploring characters and storylines and things that aren't necessarily like your big name draws. And I think a lot of that comes from, Marvel kind of set the precedent for that just a little bit with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like nobody knows who Guardians of the Galaxy were, and nobody knew who Guardians of the Galaxy were until James Gunn comes along and is like, hey, let's do something crazy. Let's do something completely off the mark.
If I may, I actually think DC beat Marvel to the punch with Arrow. I'm a longtime Green
That's a
Arrow
good point.
fan. Loved Green Arrow as a kid. The old Grell comics. The Longbow Hunter. I loved those.
Kevin Smith.
And
Kevin
I love
Smith.
The Kevin Smith
Quiver.
The Kevin Smith Quiver was an outstanding. It's an outstanding novel on its own. But I loved the 1970s trip with Hal Jordan and Ollie Queen. Excuse me. I'm trying to feel the kid.
Harley Quinn and yeah,
Harley Quinn, Ollie Queen. I don't know what I've got Harley Queen all of a sudden. Well, I'm also trying to referee an MMA fight here in the living room, it sounds like. But so what I think that, and I think that they did this is the new version, Thomas. This is it. No, this is it. Eileen, it is it.
Well, so Martin tries to corral an MMA fight over there in his household. I think
You cut away for a moment, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You were saying. Oh, and he was not saying. So we'll let Martin kind of corral his children doing whatever it is that they're doing. What children will do. If anybody out there has kids, you understand that sometimes kids will completely pull attention and draw attention from whatever else is happening. But big question for you guys is: Are you excited? Are you excited for a new Peacemaker show when the Suicide Squad movie hasn't even come out yet? We know that the Suicide Squad got pushed back an entire year, so it's not coming out until a year from now, which actually may, depending on when they start filming the Peacemaker show with John Cena, which sounds like it's going to be pretty soon. We very well may be getting the Suicide Squad movie and a Peacemaker television show all at the same time. Now, it also bears mentioning that the Peacemaker television show is a prequel. It is not a continuation of Peacemaker's story after Suicide Squad. If it were, that would be a spoiler for Suicide Squad to say Peacemaker makes it out of the movie fine and dandy. No. We have no idea. In fact, that was one of the big polls for James Gunn to take over duty in the Suicide Squad universe, is that he had carte blanche to kill any character he wanted. That includes Harley Quinn. If he wanted to kill off Harley Quinn in this movie, he could do it. DC, Warner Brothers, they gave him a full license and full ability. He could kill off anybody he wants. Now, it's my personal opinion, and more so a hope, that they kill off Pete Davidson's character, because I don't like Pete Davidson. And I understand there's plenty of people out there that love Pete Davidson. That's fine. You go ahead and love Pete Davidson all that you want. I can't stand the guy, and I don't want to see him in Suicide Squad. So I would love for Pete Davidson to be the first person to bite the dust. Martin, are you... Oh, looks like you're still out. Okay, so we'll check... Oh, there he is. So, are you on mute right now?
Oh, I
There you
was,
go.
so that we didn't have to hear people breaking chairs over
Oh, that's
each
totally
other.
fine. So your final thoughts about a new Peacemaker film, or a television show, possibly actually coming out at the same time as the Suicide Squad movie? Could this actually boost ticket sales for Suicide Squad? Or do you think it's a bad idea to have two very similar properties coming out at the same time?
I don't know. I think there you've got a crapshoot. I mean, it could come up Snake Eyes, you could come up, 7. It might be a big win or a big loss. I think it's going to be one of those two. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of room in the middle for it. I think that DC is seeming to find a lot more traction with television, and so I question the wisdom of DC's constant pushes toward movies. And I understand that movies have, for many, many years, raked in the dough, but we're coming to see with big budget, high-end cable networks that they are doing very well.
With shows like The
monetary.
Sopranos, I would even say Sex and the City, Breaking Bad, The Wire, like that ushered in a brand new storytelling experience that, up until then, we'd really only had kind of, I don't want to say cheesy or campy television, but it's always been episode of the week. Like up until those shows started happening, we never had like a congruous storyline to kind of look at as like a cinematic experience. And now we live in the day and age of streaming, Netflix and Amazon Prime, Apple TV Plus, Hulu. Like, we have all these streaming services that are latching onto this idea of let's do like some really intense storytelling that we can do on the small screen that we could never get away with on the big screen.
Well, and look at the COVID and post-COVID world. I mean, we don't live in a place right now. We have where we have the ability to go to theaters. Your box office draw is not there right now, and the entire COVID experience, at least for some time afterwards, might change the way we view movies. A home release and home streaming premieres are not going to carry the same amount of box office cash as did everybody heading to AMC theater. But here now we go.
No, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like the whole landscape is changing.
I do apologize, Mike. I think I'm going to have to bounce.
No
off right
problem,
here.
Not a problem. Martin.
Thanks.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for offering your 2 cents and, just being with us for a little while. So as we let Martin go, we're just going to move on. But you guys, the big question here is, what do you think of the new television show Peacemaker coming out? It's probably going to come out right around the same time as James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Also, every episode of the show being written by James Gunn. Most episodes being directed by James Gunn. This is a huge project, you guys. This is not just some kind of afterthought of like, hey, this is going to be a fun character to see, or rather the right character for John Cena to go off and, to kind of headline. So anyway, big question is for you guys. What do you Woo! I am just a ball of gas today. Like I said, when I started the show today, this is going to be a fly by the seat of your pants kind of a show. My apologies. What do you guys think of the new Peacemaker show coming out? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's overkill? See what I did there? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. So that will do it for the show today. Normally, we go in and take some live questions. There have not been any live questions being sent in, at least from what I can see. So this pretty much does it for this particular episode of Gotta Love Them Movies. You guys, if you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what John Cena would want you to do. All right, guys, this is Gotta Love the Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. You guys, we live in a weird, crazy world where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness into the world, please take that opportunity. Please speak kind words to each other. And until tomorrow, have a most excellent evening.